Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. We've got announcements on the undercard, okay? Now, obviously you're waiting on the official announcement. I think that's set to be Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, when they just basically give it the go-ahead. We kind of pretty much know end of July. I think it's in Las Vegas. I think it's in a stadium in Las Vegas. I'll jog my memory, but I'm pretty sure it's in Las Vegas. But Bob Arum has announced that the entire undercard is going to be heavyweights. So, not just the case of, one heavyweight fight. It's going to be just heavyweight fights, okay? Now, personally, I love heavyweights. Although I cover all weight classes, heavyweight and superfly, they're my two favorites. Superfly is just, there's so much talent at that weight class, and they're so entertaining. And again, heavyweights, although I'm nowhere near heavyweight, middleweight, literally never even come close to heavyweight, I still loved something. Even when I used to go to the pro gyms and I'd see two heavyweights spar, and it'd be a really intense spar. It's something different about watching heavyweights fight, even spar, than there is about every other weight division. So whenever I see an undercard, or just a card in general, and I see heavyweights on it, automatically I'm just like, I want to watch that. So to put all heavyweights on the undercard, now they might announce one or two other fights. They might not be heavyweights. They might be, I don't know. But the ones we have, they're all heavyweights. Now, obviously, we know ourselves, the main event, Wilder Fury 3. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I'm warming towards it. Now, obviously, I'd rather see AJ Fury, obviously. But, as I said, Usyk versus Joshua, it's a good fight. I'm perfectly happy with that. This fight's not, I think because I've seen it twice. Originally, I was kind of like, oh, Jesus, do I really want to see it again? But now, the kind of more I think about it, the more I'm like, it's actually not. Look, I was always going to watch it, don't get me wrong. But the more I'm thinking, you know what? I'm okay with this. And, I think it's going to be more competitive than the second fight. I'm still thinking Tyson Fury's going to win. But I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued about this. And I think that with Deontay Wilder, if there's one thing you can never, ever, ever criticize Deontay Wilder for, is that he's never out of shape. He is a consummate professional if ever I seen one. With Fury, we see him kind of looking, not massively out of shape or anything like that. No, I mean, you've seen Fury way out of shape. He's not gone back to that, and not even close to it. But Fury's kind of, bit chub, bit not, bit, kind of bit there. So it's intriguing, amongst other things, as well. It's intriguing. Then on the undercard, we obviously have Adam Kalnacki versus Robert Helenius. Yes, please, I'll take that. I was surprised it took this long to make. That fight last year, the upset did surprise me. I have to say, it did surprise me. But if you go back and look, I've done a couple of videos on Adam Kalnacki in the past. I think I've done his fight against Gerald Washington. I might have done another video, and I definitely done his Ariola fight, as well as obviously his Helenius loss. I've said the same thing in all them videos. I never rated Kalnacki too highly. He is entertaining. He is fun to watch. He can certainly fight. But there's a lot of flaws there. There's a hell of a lot of flaws. His defense is non-existent. He's more volume than sheer brute force. And you can see that with the way, he was able to overwhelm Washington. That's Gerald Washington. But Gerald Washington doesn't have much fight in him. He never has. Against Robert Helenius, I thought, Helenius has seen better days. He'd seen better days when he was knocked out by Gerald. He'd seen better days 2014, 2015. Rock knocked out by Johan Duhaupas in, 4 or 5 rounds back in 2016. He'd seen better days long before that. Helenius has many, many flaws as a fighter. There's one thing he doesn't. It's one flaw that he doesn't have. It's that he can punch. I would say Helenius, seriously, you can laugh at me, but I would put Helenius probably top 5 punchers in the heavyweight division, because he has very, very good punching power. Seriously good punching power is Robert Helenius. This fight to me is... Here's another thing with this undercard. A lot of these fights are 50-50. The main event, I would say 70-30 Fury. This fight I see is a 50-50. Some people are saying, oh no, Kalnacki is going to get knocked out again because, Helenius... Yeah, look, I always would if I had to favour anyone, I would favour Hellenius, because especially if you're coming off a knockout defeat, you would always favour the guy who did the knockout. But I definitely think that Kalnacki is a live underdog in here. I wouldn't even say he's an underdog, but he's definitely live in this fight. So for me, it's 50-50 this fight. I am going to lean towards Robert Hellenius to win this rematch, because I just think that Kalnacki, his defense is just so poor. Is he going to be able to tighten that up? Because you give Robert Hellenius free shots, that's got trouble written all over it. In terms of the fight next, this is a great fight. F.A. Ajagba versus Frank Sanchez, top rank PBC. F.A. Ajagba was with PBC originally when he turned pro. That's a great fight. Again, I would make Frank Sanchez favourite in that fight, because I think Frank Sanchez is a more complete fighter at the minute. Frank Sanchez is a mover, but he's not an elite mover. Make no mistake about it. He is a good mover. As a heavyweight, he obviously comes from the Cuban amateur school. The talent that they produce is just we know all about it. Even if you look at some of the guys in the amateurs like Erislandy Savon, just absolutely talented beyond belief. I think that F.A. Ajagba to me seems the bigger puncher, but the problem I have with Ajagba, although he himself had an extensive amateur background as well, he never won anything major, but he was still a decent amateur. He just makes a lot of technical mistakes in there. Whilst, yes, he can take your head off with one clean shot. Oh, that knockout he got over was the guy's name, Brian Howard. That was amazing. That was a hell of a knockout. Probably one of the knockouts of the year. But he makes a lot of technical flaws. Doesn't like to be pushed back. When he jabs, and when he comes in, when he tries to come in, he has a good jab, but what he does is he tends to kind of jab but lean into it. So he leans in with his chin wide open, and you're just looking at that and you're thinking that's wide open for a counter. A slip of that, a left hook, a straight right, you gotta be in trouble. What was the guy's name? Kaladzis, who knocked down F.A. Ajagba. And bear in mind, Ajagba was coming forward and Kaladzis was hurt and he was on the back foot, and he was still able to drop him with a right hand and hurt him. I would imagine, in fact, I'm pretty much sure that Frank Sanchez hits a lot harder. He's a lot more skilled, as far as I'm concerned, from just a sheer technical point of view. I would have to make Frank Sanchez favourite. Having said that, Ajagba can punch. Oh, make no mistake about it, he can punch. So I think that is a good equaliser. But it's all well and good having a big punch. He's not shown to have timing like Deontay Wilder, because people would always say, well, Wilder, he's not sophisticated, but he can land. Yeah, but Wilder he's very good at timing you. He's very good at reading what you do and being able to work around it. Like, he was able to look at Arthur Spilka with all the in and out move, but he was able to say, right, if you come in, a little bit wide, I'm going to time you. I'm going to catch you. That's exactly what he did. Same with Gerald Washington and guys like that. I don't see any of that yet from F.A. Ajagba in terms of just the good timing or anything like that. Yes, he can definitely punch when he lands it, but I haven't seen any great timing or snapping speed like that, like Deontay Wilder. So this fight is intriguing to me. I definitely think that it's the better skill. And don't get me wrong, Frank Sanchez can punch. The better skill of Frank Sanchez, the more refined, versus the sheer punch and power of Ajagba. We'll need to see how that goes. One thing I do say is that if Ajagba's age is listed, I think, at 25, 26. I don't know. But definitely Frank Sanchez. To say he's a year older than me, that guy's pushing 40. I'm telling you now, he's pushing 40. Finally, we have Jared Anderson. I cannot remember the guy's name, but I believe he's 22-0 with one draw. I have been super impressed with Jared Anderson. I watched his last fight. I forget the guy's name now, but it was on, I forget what card it was on, but I think it was on the Joe Smith, Maxim Vlasov card, where they had a lot of heavyweight fights on that card. That was actually a very good little card, because they had but they had Anderson, and they also had Trey Lippe Morrison. To be honest with you, I actually thought they'd be matching Trey Lippe Morrison in with Jared Anderson next, because it seemed like the logical next step, because Lippe Morrison, the son of Tommy Morrison, is very poor. A very, very poor fighter. From a technical point of view, on that card he fought, what was the guy's name? I forget the guy's name, the Australian guy, I can't remember his name, Bugman or something like that. He was getting battered in that fight until the guy blew his ankle out. So I actually thought they would put Anderson versus Lippe Morrison, but hey, Anderson I'm happy to see him. I think Jared Anderson is an excellent fighter, very good, very fast, very explosive. Calls himself Big Baby. You know, the last person who called himself that, you know, will I call him Big Farmer now? That's what I'll always call him. He will never be big. He'll be Big Farmer from now on. So Jared Anderson, again, happy with that. If we get more heavyweight fights, happy days. If, you know, I'm happy with this. The way this undercard is looking good. So I always say, when you put heavyweights on an undercard, my interest automatically is increased because I love heavyweights. And this is no different. If you look at Dylan White versus Joe Parker, look at the undercard for that fight. Now, I know they had other good fights on it as well, but the co-main event was Chisora Takam. Just did they build us up with that fight to knock him dead in Dylan White versus Joseph Parker? You know, that was a good card. Again, Eddie Hearn is very good at doing this, putting heavyweights on the undercard. Like, look at the AJ Ruiz card, as if that didn't need any more, you know, hype around it. You had, I forget the guy's name, he knocked out Tom Little. For sure he knocked out, was it Tom Little he knocked out on that undercard? Then you obviously had Hurricane versus Molina. You had Hunter versus Povetkin. You had Dylan White versus Marius Vac, followed by AJ. You see, putting these heavyweight cards on, I love them personally. I think they're great. So if we get more fights announced and more heavyweights, happy days. Me personally, I'm very happy with this card. I think it's going to be excellent. I think there's some great fights. There's some pick'em fights on there, and I think that Jared Anderson, I would say his fight is probably the least competitive. Although saying that the guy is undefeated, but I haven't seen much of him. That doesn't mean he's bad. But the other two fights, definitely Helenius versus Kalnaki, 50-50. I'm leaning towards Helenius. Ajagba versus Sanchez, again, I mean, excellent fight. I mean, I do find it amazing. Frank Sanchez, or F.A. Ajagba said he needs, about 2 years before he's ready to really kind of step on the gas. So what do? You go in there and you fight Frank Sanchez. And I'm not criticising him for that. I think it's excellent that he's doing that. I think it's annoying when you see fighters, you know, i.e. Lions in the camp, say, you know, well, we're going to step it up from here, and they go and fight Snail Boy. You know, not naming any fighter specifically, I'm just saying, you fight Kovalev, you know who I'm talking about. You fight Kovalev, you say you're going to step it up, you don't. You fight Arthur G. Lewis, and then who are you in there with again next? Some guy we never heard of from Germany. If you're going to, yeah, I'm not. That's a topic for another video. I'm talking about Frank Warren's card in July, which is absolutely disgraceful. I think that's in the Royal Albert Hall. Putting Arthur and Yard in the same card, but not in the same fight. Why don't you just match them together? I don't understand. But anyway, that's a video. That's another video. That's another topic. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on the undercard in the comment section below. Smash the like button if you enjoyed it. Hopefully tonight, well, tonight is actually Wednesday, but hopefully Thursday night I will get recording for the new channel, and we can get the first video uploaded. I've already got the thumbnail. Shout out to Big Dan. Appreciate you doing the thumbnails for this channel and for the second channel, so big up to you, man. For now, I'm going to leave you with this. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. Helps your boy out with something terrible. Like the video as well. #GMansRocks. All that good stuff. For now, lads, I'll talk to you. Peace.